Alright guys, welcome aboard. We're going to be flying this new AeroBask Diamond DA-62 twin-engine diesel turbo airplane today. This was just released, I think like a month or two ago, and I went ahead and picked it up. It's about $35 at the org store. Very nice airplane. Equipped with the G1000 avionics package, which unfortunately I'm not completely versed in, so I've been flying this airplane a couple times just to really learn the avionics package quite a bit. A little bit of a learning curve for me, so bear with me. I thought we'd do a quick flight here from Imperial County, which is out in the desert of Southern California, just north of the U.S.-Mexican border, and hop over to San Diego, and we'll try doing an RNAV approach into San Diego Lindbergh Field. Total flight time is about, I guess, half an hour or something like that. So let's just take a look at this plane. Very nicely modeled. We have a little menu here. Let me pop that up, get that out of the way. But you can open the doors and all that good stuff. That's all animated. Put passengers in. Got all your ground handling. We're just going to leave everything else as is and jump in the airplane, get her fired up. So, sorry about that jiggling there. Airplane's really easy to start up, and I've already got my mixture up, so that's from my prior flight, so we'll just leave that as is. Turn our electronics master on here. We get our display with everything needed to... My dog is squeaking a toy right next to me here. That's not in the airplane, that's the co-pilot screwing around. So yeah, starting this thing up is pretty straightforward. We got fuel pumps on, which I already left on from my prior flight. Hit the button to start the right and the left, and we are good to go here. Turn our alternators on. Turn our fuel pumps off now and put our avionics master on. We'll get everything set up over here. A couple little things that I like to do is get rid of that. I don't need that. Let's jump in here and set up our approach. So I'm going to click flight plan, and I've actually got the prior flight plan in here, which is perfect, because I kind of tried doing this already once, and my sound on the video actually was all hosed up, so I had to redo that. So anyway, we've got Imperial, we're going to San Diego, we're doing the RNAV approach into runway 27. We're going to do our initial approach fix at Lindy, and we're flying directly there, and then we do the approach here. We've got our altitudes already selected on here, so everything should be good. I don't think we have to do anything else on here, since I already had it set up, which is perfect. Let's go ahead and taxi out to the runway here. I think the winds are pretty light. I thought there was a windsock here someplace. Oh well, anyway, we're going to take the runway right over here, so let's start taxiing. We'll get our position lights on, which we should have done before. Taxi lights we can leave off for right now. We'll release the brakes and get over to the runway here. Go ahead and turn down the sound just a little bit. Like I said, I did this video earlier, and unfortunately my sound volumes were all off. You can barely hear me, and the airplane was insanely loud. So we'll get over to the end of the runway right here. We'll do a quick run up. There, we'll hold right there. Put our parking brake on, and run up is pretty much easy. You just click this button, hold it, you'll see little indicators come on here. It does a test and run up. that's it for the right side. It's got 2 electronic control units here, or engine control units, so it tests either one here. And once the indicators are off there, we're good to go, ready to take off. So let's get everything else set. Turn my lights on up here a little bit. We'll go landing light on, put our strobes on. We are going to do one thing here. We're going to set our altitude. So let's go up to 8,500 feet. We'll get that pre-positioned. We'll do our vertical speed at about, let's say, 1,300. All right, and get that off. And the only other thing I want to do on here is just change my range here a little bit. We'll zoom out. There we go. That's good. All right, and we'll set our trim tab right there. You can see, line up the line right there. Put our armrest back down. Get our view squared up, and we're ready for departure. Flaps 10, or well, not 10, through takeoff. Alright, I think we're ready to go here. So we're going to be taking off, what is this, runway 32. So heading to the northwest, and then we'll turn westbound and intercept our course into San Diego. It's pretty much a straight shot. Alrighty, full power. Let's go get up in the air. Try to maintain a center line. The rotation speed on this airplane is 79 knots. So rotate up. Got a positive brake, gear up. And let's see here, we'll do flaps up, or, well, let's see, we'll wait till we climb out a little bit farther here. The field elevation at Imperial here is like minus 140 or something like that, so we'll wait till we get up to 1,000 AGL before we make our turn. Alright, there we go, 7, 8, 9, that's close enough. We'll go flaps up, retrim, start making our turn. You can see our airspeed is increasing. As soon as we finish the churn, let's really get it over there. 15 degrees. No dilly-dallying here. The co-pilot is squeaking his toy. He wants to get to San Diego. Alright. We'll do an intercept to our course right around there. We're going to go ahead and power back. You can see our indicators here are in the yellow, so sort of at max power, right about, I think, 90. Yeah, so 90 right there, and 2200 RPM is good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hit my autopilot now. And we should be climbing out at our target 1,300 feet per minute, which we are. And our needle is coming in here, and I usually forget to do something, so bear with me there. I'm going to go ahead and turn down the sound on the sim a little bit so you can hear me better. Hopefully that comes out this time. So this should intercept that. Let's see. It's coming close. I probably did something wrong. Oh, you know what? I forgot to hit nav. Let's hit nav. There we go. There's our, yeah, there we go. So now we got the GPS, autopilot, vertical speed, 1300. And we're going to go ahead and reduce that so we can start speeding up here. go nose down once we finish this turn right here. Or actually, I'll do it on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should bring us at about 800 feet. So we'll climb out at 800 feet. You can see our airspeed is increasing nicely. And we are capturing our course here into San Diego. It's a nice clear day here out in the desert today. You can see the Salton Sea off in a distance there. Palm Springs up north behind that. Alright, so we're going up to 8,500, and that's to clear some of the hills between us and San Diego. Let's take a look at our map right here. We're flying right over, excuse me, Naval Air Station El Centro. Used to be the home of the Blue Angels Navy demonstration team. It's the winter home. Sometimes they, I don't know if they still come here or if they go to Pensacola, Florida. I can't remember. But back in my day when I used to fly in real life, that's where they were based. Alright, so I think our approach is all set here, right? Because we are going... Let me bring up the other screen here. So here we go. So we're going direct Lindy, and we are climbing to 8,500 at 800 feet per minute. Super. So I think we're set here for our descent too. We'll just have to reset our altitude, but blue altitudes indicate that those are sort of active. The autopilot, if you click on VNAV, if I remember to do that, it will take us down to these altitudes. White are reference altitudes, and there's our runway right there. So starting at Lindy at the initial approach fix will actually reduce our altitude, or sorry, we'll reduce our altitude on the display. We'll set it for you know, something. We'll actually probably set it all the way down to 2,500, and then the autopilot will take us down to these blue altitudes. Then it will take over at the final approach fix and do that manually by setting the altitude ourselves and using you know, vertical speed. So it's a nice day out here in the desert, but over in Southern California, which is where I live, just north of San Diego, we do have marine layer, which is a low stratus layer. They call it May Gray because it's May right now, 2018, and so they call it May Gray and June Gloom. And what happens is the weather just sets up perfectly so that we get sort of like a circulation off the coast, and it brings in the low marine layer and butts up against the mountains that you see up ahead of us there. And so a lot of times it'll burn off in the afternoon, but for the most part, along the beaches and the coastline, it'll stay in there almost all day. You might get like an hour or two of sun. So if you ever come to Southern California and you're expecting you know, sunshine and beach time, come in August. Don't come in May or June. You know, come in like July, August. And this is a little route here that we're flying. It's pretty much kind of like Victor 66 is the airway. We're not on the airway. We're just doing, you know, direct, but pretty much the same route. And back in my day when I used to fly in real life out of San Diego, I'd take people that wanted to go up for a flight and you know, share the expenses of the cost of renting a, you know, a Cessna or an Archer, and I'd take them out here to Imperial County because it was kind of nice to get away from the usual scenery in San Diego and go out to the desert here. And then there's a couple of guys that used to own a couple of World War II warbirds that hangared them in the Imperial Airport. So you could fly out there, and usually on the weekend they'd be out there putzing around and working on their planes, you know, doing one thing or another. And you could, you know, get a tour of a couple of the airplanes and do some hangar talk. That was always fun. Looking back behind us, we're leaving the Imperial Valley. See, it's a lot of agriculture. I think it's the lettuce capital of the world or something like that. NASL Central, which is kind of back behind us over here. One time when I was flying this route, I was flying a Cessna 152, and I was climbing out to 8,500. And one of the E2C Hawkeyes, which is a twin turboprop carrier-based plane, you know, that has a little radar dish on the top. He was flying from NASL Central over to San Diego someplace, either Miramar or North Island. And I had flight following on, so I knew he was coming as they alerted me. And he flew right by me as I was putzing along at like 70 knots or something, trying to climb out. And he was maybe 300 or 400 feet off my wing, and the pilot waved to me as he zipped on by. I think I had my camera with me, and I think I took a picture. I think I have a picture of him waving. If I find it, I'll drop it into the video here. Alright, well, it looks like we are stabilized at 8,500. Our airspeed's coming up. And, you know, I'm going to leave the airspeed up here. Now, normally I would bracket off to like 80, 75% power. But we're going to keep it up at the max power here, which is at 90%. Because we want to get to San Diego. So as we're speeding up here, you can see our true airspeed is coming up, 176 now. Let's take a look at some things on here. You know, I want to put my wind in. I like that one. It tells me the headwind. So we got a 4-knot headwind here, so that's not bad. And then let's put our bearing on. We'll do GPS. So that's our waypoint. We got 45 miles to Lindy, our initial approach fix. And now that we're level up here, we can bring our altitude down. I think I said 2,500, so we're just going to pre-stage that for 2,500. And I know our altimeter's off. I'm not sure what it is, but we'll leave it as is for the flight right here. That's what it was yesterday, so it's pretty much the same. Alright, I think that's it for that screen. I don't think I need to do anything else here. Let's see if I can screw something up. Yeah, so there's Lindy, and then we can set these altitudes. We can change the altitudes, I think. I'm not gonna. See, I wonder if we do enter, what happens there? Nothing. See, I'm wondering if you can change these altitudes. I'm not totally familiar with, like I said, the G1000. I'm old school. I, you know, learned to fly with, you know, the regular gauges and everything. I never flew airplanes with glass cockpits in real life. So a little bit of a learning curve for me to figure out exactly how to do everything on here. There's a couple good videos out there on YouTube with guys you know, doing good tutorials. There's one guy, he sounds like he's a real world CFI, you know, a flight instructor, and he's got real detailed videos. So I've been watching a couple of those just to brush up on my my glass cockpit proficiency here. Alright, so let's turn our landing light off. Forgot to do that. And we're cruising out over just getting out of the desert here, starting to get into the mountains. I think that's the 8 freeway, Interstate 8, goes all the way to Tucson from San Diego. And like I said, you've got the Salton Sea over here. The Coachella Valley is kind of behind this this little mountain right there in the valley, back behind it, and then Palm Springs back that way. So you can see the marine layer here. If I look out my window, it's we got a marine layer. It's just starting to kind of lighten up a little bit. So we'll see what it's like here in the sim. Yeah, what I was just doing is, see this line right here? Excuse me, I realized that the bottom line here will move if you're, that's sort of your coordination. So if you're in a slip or a skid, this will kind of move back and forth. So you step on the rudder, whichever side is sticking out. So I was kind of adjusting my rudder trim, which is actually down here, but I have it, excuse me, I have it mapped to my hat switch, so I was just kind of lining that up so it's we're in a nice coordinated cruise here. And if we take a look at this, so we got time to descent here. Time to descent 6 minutes 36 seconds. So we got a few minutes before we hit our descent, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit VNAV. Let's see what happens. Okay, so VNAV, and I think I should have done that over here. So see, here we go. We got VNAV is sort of activated here. So if I take it off, see, there it is. So if I hit VNAV, that's sort of like the standby. It's white. It's saying VNAV is active. We've got our altitude. Well, we've got our altitude set here for 5,000. That's our next waypoint, or our next altitude at the waypoint. And so I think it's Lindy, right, in the SIGLIC. So yeah, at Lindy, we're going to cross at 5,000 feet. And so that's where this 5,000 comes up. And we've got our selected altitude at 2,500. So as soon as we get to our top of descent in 5 minutes, or in 5.5 minutes, the airplane should start our descent down to 5,000 feet here. And what it's going to do is it's going to do this right here. So this might change a little bit here, but roughly 2.5 degrees, right around 800 is the target vertical speed. And you'll see this one come alive here, and these two should start to match up here. So we get the highest point on the route is right off here to our right, this peak right here. This is why we climb to 8,500 or 7,500 coming the other direction, or higher, just to avoid that, even though we do skirt to the side of it, just off to the south of it. Alright, with 5 minutes roughly, I'm going to take a quick break here, grab my fresh coffee. I'll be right back, and we'll start our descent here. Alright, I'm back in the cockpit. Got a fresh cup of coffee with me. And it looks like we still got 3 minutes to our top of descent. Now, like I said, I'm keeping my speed up here just to keep the flight as short as we can get it. We'll start descending below the marine layer, or through the marine layer here. Not sure what the tops are. Let's zoom in here a little bit. And I guess we gotta go click that. There we go. That's where we are. Yeah, just passing that highest point right there. I'm not going to click any of these buttons because I don't remember what the heck they do. I'll catch that in the next tutorial video. Let's do a flyby while we're out here. I'm going to turn the sound down just a little bit there so we don't get deaf. We don't hurt our ears here with our flyby. Nice looking airplane. Alright, another 2 minutes and we'll start our descent. Looks like we've got about 19 miles to Lindy. Take a look at the airplane here. Nicely modeled. The leather looks like leather. We have some lights here. I think this is the ground power. Let's look at that. Auxiliary power, yeah. So when we're on the ground, we can get the little ground power unit. Got some cabin lighting here. I'm assuming these are red lights, but I haven't figured out how to turn those on yet. Got a dome light right here that you can turn up and down. And I got some rear lights here just by clicking them. And right there. These guys don't seem to do anything here. They're, oh, those are oxygen, it says, okay. Yeah, I'd like to turn on the red lights to figure out how to do that. Of course, I get an airplane, I don't look at the manual. I just jump in and start flying it. Alright, we got about 30 seconds to our top of descent here. So I will power back a little bit in anticipation here. Let's bring it back down to about 70%. And you can see the percentage right here, we're currently at 75. And I do have vertical path selected. Hopefully this works. Alright. There we go. Are we at it? Nope. 5 seconds. I don't know what's happening. Doesn't look like it did anything. I probably screwed something up. Vertical path. Let's hit that again. Oop. Let's see. What do we gotta do? Maybe I do gotta hit something over here. Let's see. So, VNav, we want vertical path. And over here. Yeah, see, we should be descending here, but we are not. Probably gotta... Maybe I'm gonna do that profile. Oh, you know, I probably hit enter. I don't know. What? Go all the way up here. Alright, so enter, whatever, let's get rid of that. And I'm assuming that's cancel, offset, actual leg. Oh, cancel. Or that was clear. Enable VN. So we enabled it. And how do we activate it? Not sure. I thought it was by doing this, but let's go ahead and hit B. And then that. B goes down. Let's go ahead and do this manually then. Well, anyway, we're gonna go down right about 1,000 feet. So let's just set this for minus 1,000. And see, when I selected this right here, this one became a little. I'm not sure why. There's a difference between large text and small text, and don't ask me what the heck it is. But let's do this. Let's go enter, enter. Let's just make all those small. I think they're supposed to be small. Maybe that's why it didn't accept that, or it didn't start the descent. Yeah, there we go. Well, I don't know. What are we doing? Yeah, see, it's holding. It's doing something. Vertical path, armed. Alright, well, we'll leave it like that and see what happens. Maybe we'll capture the next one. So you can see our speed is still up there, 190. And we are heading for Lindy. Got about 2.5 minutes. Should start getting into the clouds here pretty soon. Looks like we're just up above it. Let's take a look at this. This says that we've got to be going about 1,200. Reach our altitude, so let's do this manually. So we're at 1,000. We'll put down 1,200 right there. Much to see over the clouds here. Oop. As the clouds reset, you could have got a glimpse of San Diego down there. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Now there we are, we're coming up to Lindy. We're going to make a little left turn and then a right turn at Vida. And then we're pretty much lined up on the approach from there on out. coming up to our altitude here. It says we got 29 seconds to Lindy intersection, our initial approach fix. We're still keeping the speed up here, but we got smooth air, so we're good in the yellow zone here. Not over speeding. And here comes our turn. I should engage here as soon as we hit Lindy. So there's 5,000. It's going to hold us at 5,000 right at the cloud tops here, and then here we go. We should start making our left-hand turn, which it is. And our next altitude is 4,000 right here. So if we take a look at that, see there's 4,000. Now this should capture it, because once this comes down here, we should capture our target descent rate, which is shown right here. Not sure if it was the selection that I did right there. Yeah, so here we go. So I didn't do anything, and there it is. It is capturing the vertical guidance now. And you can see our airspeed. We'll keep the airspeed up. Like I said, it's nice and smooth here, so in the yellow arc, we're still good to go. And once we turn onto final after VIDI, that's when we'll start slowing down. Alright, so we got 2,500 selected for our altitude. We're going down to 2,500. We're actually going to set it for 2,000, which is our suggested altitude, or our reference altitude at Rebo, our final approach fix. Now we're going to go down to 2,500 here, and then we're going to have to go to 2,000 using the vertical speed here. So we are going kind of fast. We're sort of overshooting our turns here ever so slightly. So I'm going to go ahead and slow down. We'll go down to 60% power. Alright, and this should pretty much line us up with the airport. And so the autopilot is going to take us down to 2,500. We're holding at 4,000 right now at VIDI to, can't see what that says, O'Kane. Yeah, O'Kane. 3,600 and 2,500. Yeah, see we're going to 2,600 now. And that's switching automatically. It should be popping out of the clouds here soon. Marine layer is usually not too low. Alright, let's go ahead and keep ourselves slowed up here. We'll go to 50% power. And you can see we're popping out of the clouds now. So let's go ahead and hit our landing light. You can see San Diego down below us. Marine layer is starting to break up here in little patches. And it is what? It's 12 o'clock, just after 12 noon here. Alright, here's our final VNAV descent to 2,500. So I'm going to pull back power to about 45% here, start getting us slowed up. Actually, I'll go down a little bit more. Gear extension. Does it have a placard here? Let's see. Let's take a look at this placard. 205. Let's see. Landing gear retraction. Extension. Oh, we're going good all the way up to 205. So we can extend our gear all the way up on our airspeed 205. So that's good. So here's San Diego. Let me see if I got my water textures. No, I don't have those on. See how that makes it a little bit more realistic there. Alright, so there's 2,500, and we're going to go ahead and at this time we're going to click vertical speed, and we're going to go down. We're going to keep our descent down here at about 500, so let's go one more. Alright, so vertical speed is now taken over, and we're going 500 foot per minute. We're going to go ahead and slow ourselves up. You can see San Diego Bay. Downtown's in this area. You'll see the buildings start popping in. We'll get ourselves slowed down here, so I'm going to throttle back quite a bit here. Actually, I'm all the way back now, so I'll wait for our airspeed to bleed off. And you can see downtown is starting to pop up here. If you ever fly into San Diego, you come to visit or something like that, make sure you sit on the left side of the airplane, because 99% of the time they come into runway 27, and you'll get a nice view of the bay and the buildings right over here. Alright, so what I did was I set our target altitude at 0, and I'm going to go ahead and nose down a little bit more. We'll go down about 800 feet per minute here. We're slowed up. I'm going to go ahead and hit our gear. I'll let that come down. That'll help slow us down. Alright, we got 3 green on the gear. Flaps are still up. Another thing to do if you're here in San Diego, this is Balboa Park. Lots of museums and things like that. This building right here is the San Diego Air and Space Museum. So make sure you stop in there. Lots of good displays and airplanes in there and everything. And there's a little cafe on this side with a patio on the outside right there. And you can sit there and have a sandwich and a coffee and watch the airliners come in, landing at Lindbergh. Lots of fun doing that. Okay, I think we're good. I think I'm going to fly the approach here manually. So I'm gonna hit my trim tab, disengage my autopilot, and we're going to go to our first notch of flaps. We'll trim down because that really wants to pop us out. I'm going to go ahead and throttle up to about 40%. Start trimming down. I'm applying a lot of forward pressure right now, so just trimming it up. There we go. We're nice and trimmed up. You can see our oil temperature actually went yellow because we were throttled back for so long. It's actually a little bit low. I think there's a scenery pack here. There's a bridge, Coronado Bay Bridge right here. I'm going to have to get that. Okay. Trimming down here. We'll wait till we get right over the Air and Space Museum, go full flaps, and get ourselves stabilized here. Like I said, if you fly into San Diego, sit on the left-hand side. You'll get a good view of downtown as you come in here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and full flaps right now so we get some more drag out here. We're ever so slightly high here. Alright, there's Balboa Park with all the museums, like I said. Alright, there's our target altitude roundabout, so I'm going to throttle up to 40, That should give us right around 90 knots here. We're at full flaps. Gear is down, landing lights on, and we're ready to land. Coming over the 5 freeway here. This parking garage is called the Laurel Street Parking Garage. It's actually there, and if you want to pay, you can go pay to park, and park at the top here and just hang out and watch the airliners go about 200 feet over your head as they come in. These power lines obviously aren't here. That's a X-plane quirk, I guess I would call it. And that's kind of why San Diego has this rather large displaced threshold, is because they kind of come over the hill there, and in the parking garage. I remember when they built that, there's a big uproar. Everybody thought that the airliners were going to crash into it. Alright, so this plane I found likes to be flown right down onto the deck. There we go. Keep it on the center line here. Got a little bit of a crosswind here, I think. Yep. Alright, we'll hit our brakes kind of hard right here because I'm going to taxi back ever so slightly. Yeah, there we go. I want to take this this off ramp right here. Alright, we'll get our flaps up, and we'll get our landing light off, strobes off. And I'm going to park it right over here, but the reason I wanted to turn off this side, because this side all the way down to the right is where the General Aviation FBO is. But we're going to park it over here next to some of the cargo planes, and then we'll do a little replay of the landing. Not too bad. I really like this airplane. I'm going to be doing a whole bunch of videos with it, and kind of learning the avionics package here also. The G1000. Like I said, I'm not totally familiar with it, so I'm still learning. So excuse my stupidity if I do something wrong, and if I do, post it in the comments. Let me know what I'm doing wrong. Alright, we'll park it right there. I'm going to hit my brake. We'll leave everything running in here, and we'll just do the replay. So let me jump over here. I think that's good right there. I'm going to look out the window. Fast forward a little bit. Alright, there we go. So, like I said, guys, thanks for watching, and if you like this kind of stuff, go ahead and hit subscribe, hit the bell button. You'll get notified when I post new videos. I do a lot of X-plane videos, some tech videos too, reviews, whatever I want to throw up, but mostly X-plane videos. So as you enjoy the scenery here out the window, looking at downtown San Diego, thanks for stopping by and coming aboard the first posted flight with the AeroBask Diamond DA-62. It's a lot of fun to fly. I'm gonna enjoy this one quite a bit. Alright guys, let's play some music here and enjoy the view over downtown San Diego. Alright guys, thanks again. Until next time, take care.